Hi there, it's Karen here from Turquoise Treasures. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are working again with my scraps, trying to use them up, trying to get rid of any that or use all the ones that I really like, and I'm going to ditch the rest before I move. So I've got another box here. It's smaller than the other one that we did in the last video, and I'm going to do this one a little bit differently, I think. I'm going to, well, I've decided I'm going to cover it with gesso before I start gluing things on. I'm not sure if it'll make any difference. I just thought it might be a good way to do to try it, to see if it makes any difference. And I'm also going to do the scraps slightly differently because I really struggled with it last time. So I've got a different idea on how to put the scraps on. So I'm going to start by doing the gesso. Obviously, I won't be doing all of it on camera because it'll probably take me a while to cover the whole thing. But I'll make a start, and then we'll do the fun bit, which is adding all the pretty papers. I'm just going to pour. It's quite liquid, this gesso, this one. But I mean, I'm not looking for a perfect coverage. Now I'm not quite sure what to use. I've got a brush and I've got a little palette thing, one of these soft, whatever you call them. And I'm going to try with this, and then we'll see. The daft thing is, I have packed all my mixed media stuff. I did that a couple of weeks ago. I've even filmed it, which you'll see once I've moved, that you'll see all the packing up of the craft room videos that I'm doing as I go along. And I'm having to go back and get them back out again. It's crazy. But I just had no idea what I was going to need. So I'm not sure this is going to work terribly well. So yes, luckily they're easily accessible and I can see what's in them, so I've just been diving back down and pulling stuff back out again. I think the brush maybe will be better, or try that. I might just pour the gesso straight onto the box, I don't know. I thought covering up the blue might be a good thing. Right, I'm back, and this is all now covered and it's all dry. So it's not fantastic coverage, but it just gives a base to the papers, and it went okay without doing the gesso yesterday. Well, it was yesterday for me, it was a few days ago for you, I expect. So I think that's enough to do. The other thing I've done, which is different to what I did before, is I took a load of papers that were kind of coordinating. I've gone for the warmer tones this time, the warm colours. A lot of this is from my the boho journal that I did. A lot of the papers are from that, but also there's some other bits and pieces that I've just picked out. They're all tone in and give it a bit of a warm feel. The colours I used for the other box were more cool colours, and it was more of a cool tone. So I've gone for different colours, and I've just torn them into strips to start with. These are just the ones I've got left over. And then I took the strips and I've made them into lots of tiny pieces. It's going to be a proper little, like a collage-y, decoupage-y sort of thing. And I'm just going to cover them all with all these little tiny pieces. I thought it would just be a different look. But it would all be quite tonal, I hope. I hope it'll turn out. I think they all go quite nicely together. So that's the idea. So I thought I'd try doing it that way this time, just thought something different, and it might look quite cool. And I've also got a little pile here of longer pieces, and because what I want to do is start by going around all the edges, doing all the edges, just because that might be easier, and then all I've got to do is fill in the middles. So that's the plan. There's a bit of a plan. I don't know how it'll work out. I don't know how I'm going to finish it off, or if I'm going to put any kind of centrepiece on or focal point or anything at the end, but that's what I thought I'd do. And I'm also going to, I think, stick these small pieces on with my glue stick, because I felt it got very, very wet. I'm going to finish it off with the watered down Mod Podge, but I'm going to start off by just putting on these pieces with the glue stick. Try not to, I mean, it doesn't need loads of glue on it because I am going to cover it afterwards with the Mod Podge. So I'm going to just start going around the edges like that. Gluing it down and just going all around and just trying to get a variety of colours and patterns, and I'm sure very shortly this will go into super fast mode, because if you watch me doing this, the whole thing in real time, we'll be here till Christmas. Well, perhaps not quite that long, but you know what I mean. This video will go on forever and you'll all fall asleep. So I will speed it up quite shortly. Okay, so I just kept going, and I decided I would just cover all of the edges. I would just go around all the edges of the whole box. This is such a fiddly area to do, and I thought I would probably have to keep putting my head in the camera just to see how to get into all the corners. I don't know if you can see, I've just gone into all the little awkward corners in the box, but I've left the external bits still to finish. All the straightforward bits, should I say. So it looks like that now. I'm loving how this is turning out. I really love these colours. If you remember, we were working with these colours when I was doing my boho journal, and I just love the colours, and a lot of these pieces are from those kits, but a few other bits thrown in as well, and I'm loving it, I really do. So I'm just going to finish this off. This is now the next morning. It's a lovely bright morning today, 1st of October, so yeah, things are beginning to get a bit close as far as the move goes. I'll update you on that in a moment once I've got started. So I've still got a reasonable number of scraps. I'm getting through these ones. Still got a box, nearly about half a box full of my big box. So there's more work to be done, but I'm going to keep ploughing on. And let's just keep putting on the bits of paper and filling in those gaps. So, right. Okay, I'm just going to start from the top and just work my way down. I'm going to turn it up the other way. Because if I've got a white edge, like this edge here, let's see how far down I can bring it now. I need to put it there. I'm just trying to do it so that then I'll cover up that white edge with the next piece. I need a piece to go over this bend. I suppose I could leave it, not cover that bit. Maybe I will. It's just you end up with this awkward edge like this, where it's just catching. Well, I think I'll leave that because I'm going to be covering the whole thing with Mod Podge anyway, so that'll smooth that down. So, got a piece here. Let's get rid of this. Some of them have got little white edges where I've torn them, so I just want to try and get rid of the white bits as much as possible. Okay, there, yes it will. So I'm trying, because all these pieces I've now, they more or less do coordinate, I'm trying to not overthink the placement of each piece, but of course I don't want the same piece next to each other or too close to one that's very similar. That's really the only thing I'm thinking about, trying to vary the colours a little bit and the styles a little bit as well. So I'll put that on there. Or should I go for the plain side? Sometimes with the double-sided. No, I prefer the other side. Sometimes I turn over and think, oh, no, I prefer that side, because some of my papers I did print double-sided. So that's going over there. Just make sure it goes into that bend a little bit. Keep bending and making sure that there's got a bit of give there. So we're getting there bit by bit. And talking of getting there, the move is getting closer and closer. I know it may seem like it's taken a long time, and it definitely has. That is pretty par for the course in this country, because there's probably about, I think there may be about 6, possibly up to 6 properties in the chain. I'm not sure exactly how many. I know that there are 2 behind us, so our buyers and their buyers, that's 2, so we're 3, then the one we're buying from, that's 4, and I have a feeling there's 2 more ahead of them. So when it comes to this stage, when we're actually at the point of signing contracts now, we have signed our contract, which has been drawn up for the purchase and the sale, so that's the transfer of the deed and the purchase, the contract to say we're going to buy the house at this agreed price and going to sell our house at that agreed price. That's been done. So we're now kind of getting people starting to suggest dates for the move. And there have been some quite scary dates have been put forward this week, which we're trying to resist, because there's been dates. No, I have to move that up a bit. People are suggesting dates the week before the wedding, and much as we don't want to hold things up for everybody. We want, we want to try and fit in with what everybody wants. We've realised that trying to move so close to the wedding, as is being suggested, like days before, it's just not possible. It's because moving is, I'm sure anybody who's moved, which I'm sure all of you have done so sometime in the last few years, or at some point in your life, will know how tiring and stressful the whole process is. And the last few days of the move and the day of the move itself is totally exhausting. And what we don't want is to do something like that and then just not be able to enjoy the wedding. Really, that's our main concern, because I know it'll affect me a lot. I mean, it'll take me probably a week to recover from the move when the time comes. And we don't want to do that. So we're resisting the dates that have been put forward. We're hoping that actually everybody will agree on the beginning of November now. That's what we're aiming for. Which just gives us a couple more weeks to get the wedding out of the way and recover from that, because that in itself is going to be quite tiring. But it will be for me. I think it will be for everybody, really, because we're, being parents of the bride, we're going to be quite involved with being sociable and just generally being involved in the whole thing. We're going to be very much part of it, and it will be quite a tiring day. We'll probably be on our feet quite a lot. And I want to make the most of it. It's a big day for all of us, and I don't want to arrive at it sort of dead on my feet from having just moved. So I think we're going to have to be quite firm, I think. I just want to get that little white bit off if I can. Pop that there. Rid of this page. It doesn't take 5 minutes for these pages to get so gluey. Going through loads of this book. There's another old diary that I found. Old work diary. It's perfect for this, really. Working as a glue book. Okay. I'll move it down as much as I can. There we are. So this current weekend, Hannah's got her hen do, which I think is going to be, they're going to have loads of fun. Jenny and the other two bridesmaids have been busy organising it, and I think they're going to have a wonderful time. Just cross over. There's a funny little gap here, and all these joinedy bits. I'm going to cover that up. Ooh. What's that on the other side? No, I think I'll do that. Yeah, so they're going to have a really lovely time this weekend, I think. Lots of girly things going on. Oh, Hannah's going to have such a lovely time. I think Jenny's quite enjoyed organising for her as well. As sisters, they are as close as sisters could be. They really are. We're very lucky. They've got a wonderful relationship. That's why they both live in the same town, because they, one moved there and then the other one moved there too. So it's handy for us because we can have them both nearby. Hang on, which side do I want? I actually think do I want that piece? think I do. Yeah, so it's lovely that they are so close. They always have been, right from the word go. And I've got 5 years between my girls, and from the minute that Hannah arrived, they were like totally besotted with each other. I mean, obviously they had their moments when they weren't quite so quite so happy with each other, but most of the time they've always been very close. And it is lovely for us to have them being like that, really. I'm trying to find a piece that would, yeah, I like that piece there. Just kept filling that funny little spot. It's awkward to get at. Let's do it that way. Right. Okay. Right, so I've got that all covered. And the inside is all done. I've got a piece just to go in here, but I'm going to do the outside next. So I do these sides, these sidey pieces. I've just realised I can't cover this up because that's where the flap goes. Did you all see that? That was very foolish. Take that off. As I put that piece there. Now that it's, yeah, just realised that. Cool, phew. Good thing I realised before I Mod Podge the whole thing shut. So I'm just going to trim that. And glue it back down. That was a close call, wasn't it? Can't cover that corner, which is why I didn't cover it before when I was doing all the edges. I just forgot. Okay. Right, so that's all done. I've finished doing the back, finished the whole thing except one last piece. And I'm just going to open it up, and I've got one piece And I've got this beautiful piece of, this is some scrapbook paper I've had for a long time. I've always loved it. I have used bits of it around, I think, here and there. But it's just, I've just cut it to size to go in the bottom. It looks nicer to have a single piece, I think, in the bottom of the box. So I'm just going to glue that in, and I'm actually, for this, I'm not going to use the glue stick. I'm going to use a tacky glue, because it'll be easier to position. So I'm just going to glue this all on. And it's quite a thin piece of scrapbook paper. I mean, it wouldn't have really mattered, because actually in the base a thicker piece would have been fine as well, but I just happen to love this particular piece of paper. It's nice to have a chance to use it. Goes in there like that. And because I've gone round the edges, it doesn't have to fit exactly into the corners and everything, but it's pretty close. It's pretty good. Let me just get my bone folder in and just burnish it down all over. Right, there we are. So now all I need to do is to cover the whole thing with Mod Podge and think about whether I'm going to decorate it. So I'll get my Mod Podge back out and have a go at doing that, and I'll have a think about how I'm going to decorate it. But for the moment I'm just going to pause, because Richard's on his way home with lunch and we're going to have a bit of lunch. So I'll be back. Okay, so now it's time to Mod Podge. I've had a lovely lunch and I'm raring to go again. So I have no idea what I did with my little spongy thing that I was using to do it the other day, so I'm going to have to use this paintbrush and hopefully get it nice and clean so I don't ruin it afterwards, because Mod Podge does glue up your paintbrushes, something rotten really, but it actually allows it to spread quite nicely. I can glue down some of these bits on the corners so they don't keep popping up. This will give it a nice seal and hopefully give it a bit of longevity. I'm going to use this box, I think, for my earrings, which at the moment I've had them for years on a cork board on my wall, a cork board in a frame on my wall by my bed, and all hanging from pins. I've just got all lots of just the normal header pins, you know, the coloured heads, and hung my earrings from it. But I'm going to need to put them away somewhere because I don't really wear them very much anymore. I think one of my ears, I think the hole that the earrings go through closed up because I hardly wore them over lockdown. For some reason I just stopped wearing them, and because I wasn't going anywhere and didn't seem any point, I just didn't bother to wear them. And then when I did want to wear them again, one of the holes my earrings just wouldn't go through. So I don't know, I might have to get them re-pierced or something one day maybe, but I can't part with the earrings. I can't bear to part with them just yet, so I'm going to put them all in this, and anyway I needed somewhere to put them for the move, so I thought this box would be just right. Nice way to use it. Right, so there it is. It's all dry and nice, and hopefully nice and secure and protected. All I want to do now is put a little something on top to decorate it. So I had a bit of a think, and then I pulled out my little box. I don't know if you remember, a while ago, probably around about the time when I was doing the fairy journal, I made all these flowers out of painted book pages. So I was trying to find one that would go on here, and I had quite a few that were these kind of colours, a mixture of the orange and the yellow, and a bit of plain book page. And I had this one which I really liked, and it had another layer in between here. I think it was just plain, but I felt it needed the turquoise. So I pulled it apart and managed to get the piece off without causing too much damage, the layer in between. And I already had this just laying in a bowl ready to be put together. I had this piece. So I thought if I inserted that piece in there, like that, that would just pull all the colours together. And I really like that. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've just got to stick these bits together now. I'll try and make sure this is quite well glued together, because I don't want it getting torn and knocked about. So I'm not quite sure how best to actually make sure that it stays protected, other than making sure it's all very well glued down and quite flat really. And again, just a top layer on here. So I'm not just going to glue it in the middle. I'm going to glue all the leaves or petals or whatever you want to call them, oops, into place, so that try and stop it getting too scuffed. And I'm just going to pop that there. Those petals, because it's the same shape, it's just a bit different. You know, the yellow is a little bit smaller, but exactly the same shape as the one above. Make sure they're all glued to each other. I think I'll put a little extra glue in here. And then when I glue it down, I will try and make sure it's all firmly glued into place. So that's that. Now the final thing, it does look a little bit off centre now, I'm not quite sure why. Maybe if I do like that, that looks better. But I thought just like that, it's going to blend into the background a bit, so I need something else. So I had a hunt in my doily box, which I hardly ever reach for. And luckily I haven't packed it yet, because there has been a lot of packing this week, and there's more to come. We're doing loads at the moment. So I'm thinking I might just drape that over the whole thing. I love that. So I'm just going to put some art glitter glue over the whole thing. I'll just try and put a load in the middle, and then I can glue it down in the places around the edge that I miss. This is quite strong, and it's a very fine doily, so it should hold it quite well, as long as I put plenty of glue around the edges. So it's just a starting point as far as the glue goes, just to get it into place and see where I need extra. I don't really want it to go over the edge at the back there, I don't think. Okay. I'll use this just to tap it down into place. Probably be the best tool to use at my disposal. I'm hoping that's just about central. A little curled up piece here, so we need to do something with that. And this one. Okay, I love that. And what I really love is that because it's so fine, you can still see all the lovely pattern coming through behind it. And I love that. I really love that. That was a kind of a last minute thought to do that, but I'm really pleased. And so then this little flower and just go in the middle there. Just like that, and I think that just looks gorgeous. Just finishes it off nicely. So that's what I'm going to do. Put plenty of glue on. And we'll just put that there. Put some little dots of glue under this as well. And there it is. I may well apply a little layer of Mod Podge to the flower just to protect it, literally just on the flower, just to make sure it's keeps it from catching and tearing. But that's it, it's finished. I'm really pleased with that. I love it. I love the colours, I love the doily, really pleased with that. That's going to be brilliant. That's going to be just what I want. So thank you very much for joining me for this rather long, I imagine it'll be quite a long video in the end, but there'll be lots of editing, so hopefully bits will be speeded up and you won't have to watch me sitting and gluing for as long as it's taken me, which has been quite a while. Please do join me again for the next one. Bye for now.